All right, we're live. Hello, everyone, and welcome to the New Hampshire Aerospace and Defense Export Consortium's Lunchtime Connections presentation. Today is December 20th, and we have with us today TRM Microwave, the Southwest Research Institute, and Transupport. I wanted to introduce myself so that you all know the voice behind everything. My name is Stephanie McLaughlin, and I am the principal of Savoir-Faire Marketing Communications, also a NHADEC member, a member of the board of directors, and a member of the marketing committee. Today's the Lunchtime Connections format is going to be presentations from each of the member organizations up to about 8 minutes long, including a Q&A after the presentations. You can, during the question and answer period, either raise your hand in the webinar software, and I will unmute you, or you can type a question into the chat panel, and we can, and I'll be happy to ask the presenters. If anybody has any questions on the format, I'm happy to take them now. And if not, then we can jump into our first presentation. Is everybody comfortable with what's going to happen?
Yes. Yep.
Okay, great. So I think today we are going to start out with TRM Microwave, and I will let you guys take it away.
Very good. Good afternoon. My name is Darren Cossett. I'm a key account manager for TRM Microwave, and I'm going to start with some slides to give you a quick company overview. So who is TRM Microwave and what do we do? Well, TRM partners with our customers to solve complex RF microwave signal processing challenges. We've been providing Tier 1 defense contracts in the aerospace industry with custom microwave solutions since 1970. Being an RF microwave subject matter experts, we offer custom technical solutions for unique RF design problems, complex passive and active components, subsystems for high-performance applications, and applications with stringent electrical, mechanical, or environmental requirements. With a vertically integrated capabilities in design, manufacturing, test, and support, we serve as an extension of our customers' team. Also, customers with supplier diversity goals also benefit from TRM status as a certified woman-owned small business. Next slide. So, discussion about some of our core competencies. We have custom and catalog designs for passive RF microwave components from DC to 40 gigahertz, such as power dividers, directional couplers, 90 to 180 degree hybrids, beamforming networks, directional couplers up to 20 kilowatts, dividers and combiners up to 10 kilowatts, and custom integrated active systems. We are able to create innovative designs, the ability to merge various technologies such as ferrite, strip line, microstrip, coaxial, and airstrip. We also provide risk mitigation objective evidence to support all of our products and our services. I'm going to turn the presentation over to our Chief Technical Officer, Sean Moore. He's going to speak to our design capabilities.
Hi, good afternoon. Next slide, please. Hi, as a design team, we have a wide range of talented people here at TRM. We have extremely detailed, we have program managers that go in and handle a lot of those details as far as making sure that all of the work gets done and all the work gets completed. From a design standpoint, from mechanically, we use SolidWorks as our primary design tools, as well as for other FEA simulations for stress, strains, and mechanical evaluations as we're going through those products. Electrically, we rely heavily on HFSS as one of our design tools, as well as Agilent EM Pro and ADS. We use a structured design approach from the design concept right through the end of the design process. We validate all of our designs both in software and in actual testing of those components as we're going through. And then we validate all those designs by building prototypes and validation coupons to make sure that we meet all of the customers' parameters. Next slide, please. From a quality standpoint, TRM has all the certifications you would expect from an aerospace company. We are AS9100C certified, which is the aerospace addendum for quality. We're also ISO certified. We are ITAR registered for using, as well as the facility is classified for secret clearance, so we have those abilities to work with our customers as well. We use total quality management tools to make sure that we both analyze and validate any sorts of problems or any sorts of issues that come up along with our designs. We utilize continuous improvement teams to make sure that we have good process involvement going through, as well as we work to all of the, again, sort of high quality standards that you would expect out of a design company like ourselves. We do work to the J standard for soldering and workmanship, as well as the space addendum. A good number of our products that we build go on both military platforms as well as spacecraft. So we have very high quality requirements here at TRM. Also, we work within the various capabilities for solder, depending whether the customer requires a RoHS sort of environment, or a lot of our military customers actually request a more standard sort of solder sort of configuration for reliability, and we work with both those configurations. Next slide, please. In-house, like Darren mentioned earlier, we are fully vertically integrated, so we have full manufacturing capability from design right through manufacturing and then building the part. We have all of our design services in-house. We have all of our manufacturing in-house. We have our own machine shop. We have our own PC shop. We have our own laser cutting machine here in-house. We have and once those individual parts get fabricated, we then can go ahead and mount them. We have our own SMT line, all fully automated machinery to be able to build a lot of these custom parts. The automated machinery is all software configurable, so depending on the size of the run, we can actually go ahead and reprogram things up relatively quickly. From an overall test capability, we have a good suite of environmental capabilities in-house right now. We can go in there. We have vibration in-house. We have thermal shock in-house. We have thermal cycle in-house, gross leak testing in-house. We have infrared imaging that we use for when we do high power testing for individual components, as well as we also own a wide variety of amplifiers to be able to do those high power testing in-house. All of the other sorts of parameters that we need outside of those areas, we partner with local labs to be able to go ahead and do those sorts of tests. We routinely do salt spray, mechanical shock, humidity, thermal vac, and those sorts of tests at a lot of our facilities that are local as well. And those sorts of testing is sort of things that we do on a routine basis. Next slide, please. And that's it. Any questions?
Thanks, Sean and Darren. Does anybody have any questions for Sean or Darren today? I have one if nobody else has anything prepared. I saw some news recently that you folks purchased a new building, and I'm curious to know, what are your plans for that? Is that what directions are you moving with that new building?
Yes, certainly. You want to pick it up, Darren? Let me
right ahead. The description of the building, and actually, I don't know what the square footage is, but it's 5,000.
Yeah, so that building right now, we added an additional 7,500 square feet onto our facility. That is really for additional capability and space. We've been growing over the past several years, and this gives us the ability to go in there and to continue to grow. Primarily, that is where most of our automated equipment is going. So our SMT line, as well as a lot of our automated robots that we're building to aid in our facility, are all going into that facility. Really, it's a good problem to have. We're outgrowing the building we're currently in, and we needed some more space.
That's wonderful. Sounds like exciting times over there at TRM.
Yep, thank you.
Thank you.
Great. All right. Moving on, our next presenter today is the Southwest Research Institute. And for that, I'm going to hand it over to Steve Myers.
Thank you, Stephanie. Good afternoon. My name is Steve Myers, and I'm a Program Manager in Research and Development within the Southwest Research Institute Earth, Oceans, and Space Department here in Durham, New Hampshire. I'd like to take this opportunity to introduce you to a summary of the technologies and capabilities of Southwest Research Institute, or as we affectionately call ourselves, SWRI or SWI. The graphic on our opening slide shows 4 magnetospheric multiscale, or MMS, spacecraft stacked and preparing for final shroud encapsulation, the nose cone, just prior to being placed on top of an Atlas V launch vehicle. This NASA mission was launched in March of 2015, placed in a tetrahedral formation. The spacing between the 4 spacecraft is now 20 kilometers and has been operating successfully since our launch date. The 4 spacecraft contain a total of 104 science instruments that measure the interaction of the Earth's magnetic field with the solar wind. Nearly half of all the science instruments were designed, built, and tested here in Durham, New Hampshire, along with our 3 U.S. partners and 3 European partners. We are currently planning operations through August of 2020 and expect the mission to operate well beyond that date. The science payload is now being managed out of my office. Next slide, please. Southwest was founded in 1947, providing contract research and development services to industry and government clients, both domestic and global. Southwest currently has a staff of over 2,700 employees and has 9 technical divisions, covering deep space to deep ocean and everything in between. Our corporate office is located in San Antonio, Texas, on 1,200 acres, and here you see a photograph of our campus. Southwest has 9 remote technical offices and laboratories located in the U.S. and China, with our office located in Durham, New Hampshire on the UNH campus. More information on Southwest can be found at www.swri.org. Next slide, please. These next 2 slides show the technical divisions as well as a summary of the technologies located within each division. Shown here are the applied physics, chemistry and chemical engineering, powertrain engineering, fuels and lubricants technology, intelligent systems divisions, and their technologies. Next slide, please. Shown here are the mechanical engineering and the defense and intelligence divisions and their technologies, as well as the space science and engineering division, which is where our department resides, Earth, Oceans, and Space. Next slide, please. The Earth, Oceans, and Space Department was established in 2013. Prior to establishing this department, we were all UNH staff members. We are co-located within the UNH Institute for the Study of Earth, Oceans, and Space. We share offices and laboratories with the UNH Space Science Center, including a machine shop, electronics shop, polymerics lab, clean rooms, thermal chambers, thermal vacuum chamber, and an EMI/EMC chamber. Here you see a photo of our building, Morse Hall, on the campus of UNH. Our department staff has over 100 years of spaceflight and suborbital experience in heliophysics, astrophysics, and earth science. More detailed information about our department can be found at newhampshire.swri.org. Currently, Southwest EOS maintains capabilities in project management, project support, and support in digital, analog, and software engineering. When resource shortfalls arrive, we are able to draw on the extensive expertise from our San Antonio and Boulder offices. We can also draw on the engineering and science resources here at UNH. Next slide, please. In closing, why Southwest? Southwest is a nonprofit with our research and development in the public interest, no stakeholders. Southwest is independent with no compromising affiliations. Southwest offers a broad range of technical expertise. Southwest staff is top-notch with over 1,500 degrees from 500 universities worldwide. We have state-of-the-art equipment and facilities with 2 million square feet of labs and offices on the 1,200-acre campus in San Antonio. Southwest Technologies can solve your problems with Southwest-funded research often applied to client projects. Southwest has a liberal patent policy where in most cases inventions are licensed or assigned to the client. And diverse research is a DNA of Southwest. Founded by Ohrman and philanthropist Tom Slick Jr., the spirit of innovation is alive and well at Southwest. Southwest can serve as a gateway to the various Southwest resources. Thank you for your time. Are there any questions?
That was great, Steve. Thanks so much. I'm curious to know, looking at all your locations, sort of mostly in the Midwest and certainly far afield in China, I was curious, why would Southwest decide to start a department on the UNH campus?
Thank you. That's a good question, Stephanie. UNH and Southwest have been working together for decades on multiple NASA missions. The strength of our Southwest division, Space Science and Engineering, has been in heliophysics. That's where the MMS mission resides, with a desire to extend our science more into Earth science and astrophysics. The benefit to Southwest is that UNH brings us the additional science expertise in these areas through UNH faculty and researchers. And the benefit to UNH is that Southwest brings a strong infrastructure to allow UNH to bid on these large NASA missions. We're bringing earned value, QA, reporting. To date, there remains a strong synergy between UNH and Southwest.
That's wonderful to hear. It was before I met you. It was something I was not aware was on campus here at right here in New Hampshire at UNH. So that's really a fantastic, really interesting stuff you guys are doing.
Thank you, Stephanie.
Great. Does anybody else have questions for Steve? Actually, Steve, one came in through the chat panel. What specific testing assets do you have at UNH?
At UNH for testing, we have a thermal vacuum chamber, which we use to replicate the space environment. We have an EMI EMC chamber. We have 10E chamber thermal chambers at ambient pressure. We have a light calibration lab. We have a neutron detector lab. There's quite a few test facilities here within our building in Morse Hall.
That's fantastic. Wonderful.
Yeah, for a state university, we are very diverse here. A lot of people, when they come to see us, are incredibly impressed with the assets that this building can offer.
Oh, that's not a surprise. It sounds quite impressive. Thanks, Steve, for joining us today. I really appreciate you being here. Let's move on to our final presenter today, and that will be Sean Foote from Transupport. Are you with us, Sean?
I am. Thank you for the introduction. As Stephanie said, my name is Sean Foote, and I am the supply chain manager here at Transupport. To just kind of start diving in on what Transupport is, next slide, please. What we do here is we're buyers and sellers of turbine engines, and more specifically T53, T55, and AGT1500. These are very old engines. They were actually developed in the 50s, and at the time they were developed, jet engines was the way to go. So this was a way to fuel aircrafts and not spend as much gas as jet engines used to. So they proposed this turbine propelling system that we now have today. So with that, we've been buying and selling these turbine power shafts for over 45 years now, and with that, we've accumulated quite the inventory. With having a 50,000 square foot warehouse located in Merrimack, New Hampshire, we often supply MRO facilities or maintenance, repair, and overhaul shops to help service these engines that are constantly being used. After certain log times in the air, they have to be looked at, replaced, bearings switched out, and that's usually where we come in and support these MRO shops with these bearings and gaskets and the overall maintenance of the engine itself. We are also an authorized distributor for the Triumph Group Integrated Systems, cage code 11599, which deal in a variety of aviation fuel systems for a variety of aircrafts. But I'll talk about that a little bit later in our presentation. Transport is proud to also announce that we've been exporting for over 40 years, whether directly through government entities or through agents. And as of right now, our hot areas have been Taiwan, Singapore, Korea, and Dubai. Next slide, please. So as I mentioned, the three main turbo shafts that we deal with, the T53 is probably our most prominent one, with 80% of our total sales going to this specific engine. As you can see on the slides, the turbo shaft propels or operates in a UH-1H Huey, a OV-1 Mohawk, as well as a AH-1S Cobra. So just judging by the looks of all of these aircrafts, you can tell that they're used for different functionalities. And usually the way that you can tell that is the letter in front of the description. So for the UH-1H Huey, that is a utility helicopter. And the foreign governments that fly these Hueys are Argentina, Australia, Canada, New Zealand, Germany, Colombia, Italy, mostly the NATO countries. And we either directly or indirectly support them here at Transupport. The OV-1, as we move on, is an observational aircraft. That is not as prominently used as the other three aircraft shown today, but it is still prominent in Argentina and Israel. And then we have the Cobra, which is an AH-1S or an attack helicopter, and that is used mostly in Japan, South Korea, and Israel, as well as the United States. Next slide, please. So the second of the turbo shafts that we deal with are the T55, and these are mainly used in Chinooks, the CH-47. So CH meaning a cargo helicopter, and those are still flown in Australia, Canada, Greece, India, Thailand, Singapore, and the United States as well. To our right is the AGT-1500, and this was basically the T55 almost on steroids. It was souped up a little bit more so it can put out more horsepower. And with that, they use it in the M1 Abrams tanks. These tanks are in Australia, Saudi Arabia, and Taiwan, as well as the U.S. Next slide, please. So as I mentioned before, we are an authorized distributor for the Triumph Group, and we've been distributing for them for over 25 years. Since we've been in business for so long, this partnership almost formed because we were always directly competing with them because we'd always have so much of their stock and surplus that they didn't want to hold on to. So once we realized that we can make a mutually beneficial relationship, we have now been distributing for them, as I said, for 25 years. Just a quick little blurb of Triumph. They design, develop, and manufacture service fuel pumps, fuel metering units, and electronic engine control systems for helicopters and fixed-wing aircrafts. The products that we specifically distribute for them are their fuel controls, their boost pumps, their governors, and their DECUs, their digital electronic control units. Next slide, please. So in summation, like I've said, we've been around for 45 years, and this will be our 24th year actually up in New Hampshire. There's 8 employees that make up 3 generations of foot-to-foot or feet, if you like to say. And we have our own helipad here at our location. So if anyone in the aircraft would like to stop by and take a look at our 50,000 square foot warehouse, the latitude is 40 degrees, 51 minutes, and 36.3 seconds north, and longitude is 71 degrees, 29 minutes, and 16.2 seconds west at 235 feet above main sea level. For more information about Transport and our product offering, please visit us at www.transport.com. And if anyone would have any questions, I would be more than happy to answer them.
Thank you, Sean. What a riot. I don't think I've ever seen anyone in a presentation give their location in longitude and latitude, but I think that was fantastic.
Well, you'd be surprised. We've had actually a handful of helicopters come and stop by to just take a tour or kind of fly over and see our location.
Do they legitimately just drop in?
Yep, I can send you a photo of a helicopter landing in our front yard next time I see you.
That's fantastic. Hey, I have a question for you. So their presentation was a lot about helicopters, and I'm curious to know if these engines that you folks specialize in have other uses beyond helicopters.
Yeah, so that's a very good question, Stephanie. Thank you for asking. So as most gearheads know, they always like to tinker and make their engines bigger and better or faster or whatnot. So some gentlemen a few years back converted these turbine engines into actual generators. So they use them to power up construction sites and other various buildings. And then another gentleman created a offshore race boat. So one of our turbine engines is actually holds the land speed record for the water land speed record. So water speed record, correct. I'm sorry, there's a little play on words there. But the engine that we put in there just needed to be recoated with magnesium so the salt water wouldn't rust it, and the engine was good to go.
Sean, that is a riot, and partially because I did public relations for an offshore powerboat racing team many years ago. Do you know what team the engines is being used by?
Yep, it was in the Geico boat, and then we've also done the Budweiser boats back in the day, but I don't think they still race anymore. And then the Joe Camel.
Too funny. That's great. Well, that's a neat business to be in. Thanks so much, Sean, for telling us a little bit about TRM and what you guys do. And I'm going to sign off now. Thank you so much to all of our presenters and to all of our audience members today. I appreciate you all being here with us for Lunchtime Connections, and I look forward to our next edition. Thanks very much, folks. Have a great day.
Thank you, Stephanie.
Bye-bye.
Thank you.